Cummins Airfield. Common.
Ballybacon Grange.
Conde.
Tipperary.
Cyn chiad cluiche I dimmer tú le Tipperdoran.
League 1993, November 93.
Iver Janzi.
Goalkeeper.
Céile Córic is Láidre.
Paul Flynn of Waterford.
Luach Spóirt.
Sport now will be Nick English.
Buick Fuinte Spóirt.
Win the 2010 All-Ireland final.
Cinócáid Spóirt is Múchar Díma Art.
2011 All-Ireland final. Not.
Tá me fan an imlir de bir roundú le nimmert le Tipperdoran cé round ofa.
Joe Canning.
Na rudí is fear le tain Brendan an Dower.
Book could be Helmet for My Pillow.
Sconan.
Braveheart, of course.
Oran.
The Wanted Glad You Came.
Blades nu Studs.
Blades.
Kim Kardashian nu Georgia Salpa.
Kim Kardashian.
Creep na Hayden nu Creep na Globe.
All-Ireland club title.
Uirin Amana Tipperdoran céhé an poser is mú.
I suppose we'd have, I give it to two because they're the same club. I'll give it to John O'Neill and John O'Keefe because the two of them are always stuck with each other.
An Mommy's boy is mú.
Mommy's boy would be Shane McGrath. He would take her to training if he could, I think.
An Downshore is Massa.
Even though he's fleet-footed enough out on the pitch, Shane Cameron would have to get the nod.
An Cailúní is Massa.
Our captain this year, Paul Curran, hates losing anything. Don't play him at Tiddly when he goes mad if you do.
Ken motto with Agatain, Brendan?
Play each game like it's your last. I suppose the older you get is probably more that it becomes that way, but play all games like it's my last.
Agus céir déad na sprúcanna tá agat I gcóir gávídas a dóéag.
Obviously to win an All-Ireland is the key thing, but I think to perform in every single day we go out is the most important thing, I think, for us. The results look after themselves then, hopefully, after that.
Kilkenny in the first round of the league, you went on to beat Galway and Waterford, and you drew with Dublin and most recently Cork. How do you feel you performed in those games?
Coming from where we were after the Kilkenny game, we were all very disappointed. We had high hopes, I suppose, to try to lay down this famous marker going down to Nolan Park, but it just didn't happen for us on the day, and Kilkenny really showed why they've 8 All-Irelands in the last 11 years, you know, they've great consistency. So, I mean, it was a little bit back to the drawing board, but in fairness to Declan's management team, they've really stepped up to the plate since then, and us as players have responded well as well. So you can see the results have gone really, really well since, and we haven't been beaten, and, you know, we're trying to get our confidence back right again, and so, you know, from the Kilkenny game we learned the lessons, and I think we're building again steadily. That
last game against Cork was more like a championship game than it was a National League game. Tough games like that at this time of the year must be hugely beneficial.
Absolutely, yeah. Even playing the game under the hill, like, you know, the sun was starting to break through, you know, and the old Cork jersey brings out the best in any of the tip players as well, and the crowd. Cork brought a great following as well, like Jimmy Barry Murphy has really ignited the Cork cause now, you know, so, I mean, it was a fantastic atmosphere. The purists will probably say the game was a little bit loose, which it probably was, you know, it was very high scoring and all that, but the skill levels and the pace of the game was certainly right up there where both sides would like to be in championship.
Larry Corbett was part of the Tipperary team for over 10 years, and I suppose he was the go-to guy when a score or a goal was needed. How has his absence affected the squad? I
think after the initial couple of weeks, the media push around it, once that's gone, I think players are very adaptive, you know. It gave somebody else an opportunity, like Shane Burke now has really blossomed inside corner forward, you know, and while Larry obviously was a loss, things obviously have to move on, and we're very focused on trying to win an All-Ireland this year, so that means somebody else now has to fill the breach, and there's a few there. We're not short on talent, thankfully, in tip.
Fósig Burke ní chanán ní fiocca. Vrúd after starting way in the galve, she fought to get Erdere. Hot she built the stack again. I got Shin on score way. Shane Burke with Shin Cruncha in the Fornia Erho score.
I think last year's defeat as well will may help in a weird kind of a way, you know, to say, look, while we were at the top, you know, maybe, you know, we didn't do all the things we should have done while we were up there, and now we have a chance to try to rebuild again. So it's all about experience for these players, like, you know, and I think they'll have learned from last year, and hopefully that'll stand us in good stead for the rest of the summer.
So it's Cork again for the National League semi-final. Would your recent draw make you more hungry this time around?
I don't think it goes back to guys putting their hands up and wanting to get a championship place. And if you play well against Cork, certainly it puts you foremost in Declan Ryan and his management team's mind, you know, that you can perform at that level. So once again, it's another chance for players to prove themselves, and also, I suppose, for us to gel as a team. Cork under Jimmy Barry Murphy been absolutely flying, you know. They looked like they were nearly going to top the league if they'd beaten us. So they'll be saying to themselves to bring in that bit of momentum as well. So it's going to be a very interesting clash, which will set both teams in great stead.